On this episode of Eat, Sleep, Drive, it's all about rescuing my not so tastefully done Scion FRS. Let's see what the moment of truth with this cabin filter. What the hell? Ugh. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Eat, Sleep, Drive. And as I said in the intro, today is about rescuing my FRS because it was going down a not very nice path with the previous owner. Previous owner was a nice guy, but he really wasn't caring for this car. So what we're gonna do is fix it today, or at least unmodify it and at least get it back to a decent baseline to start from. I am ultimately gonna modify this car a bunch, so subscribe if you are into GT86 FRS content. There's gonna be proper modifications done on this car, but right now there are not proper modifications done on this car. He put, the previous owner put a crappy exhaust on it. It's got like a straight pipe, which straight pipes are fine if your engine sounds good, but this engine sounds terrible, so that has to go. It's got these stretched wheels and tires that I'm not a huge fan of. The wheels are okay, but the tires are trash. I ultimately really want to put some sticky tires on it, but in the meantime, I've signed up for a drift event this week. So I'm gonna get some like cheap stock wheels and tires just to burn off, and it'll at least like look a little more subtle or whatever. What else has he done to the car? Just in general, he hasn't taken great care of it. The car is filthy. I have no idea what the status of any filters or anything are on the car. So I'm gonna tune it up as well. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. Got a line on a free stock exhaust. I got a line on some wheels and tires. We're gonna go pick this up and install them. But before we do any of that, the car desperately needs to be cleaned. So let's dive in, clean this thing, and then get it back to a decent baseline. I admit, my cleanliness standards may be a bit excessive, but I by no means expect people to have a spotless car. Regardless, I do expect them to not have a spider and his web living in the door jamb. So I started with vacuuming, and then eventually moved to cleaning the door jambs, and finally I started to shampoo the carpet to get out this nasty stain on the driver's seat. From there I replaced the intake filter, which was pretty dirty, but nowhere near as dirty as the cabin filter. So time for the cabin filter, and I guess that just comes out like that. The cabin filter, traditionally most cars, is right under the passenger side dashboard, and in a weird way I sort of am kind of hoping this is really dirty because it smells kind of weird in here. I'm really hoping that that smell, if it's not fixed by me shampooing the carpet, this little tray thing comes out, and I hope like replacing this. Let's see what the moment of truth with this cabin filter. What the hell? Dude. Look at this cabin filter. Can you see that? I've never seen a cabin filter so dirty. Ugh, just kind of smells like moldy leaves. That's disgusting. Let me look at what it's supposed to look like. Well, yeah, that's quite a bit different. I've never had to vacuum out the cabin filter compartment before, but I guess there's a first time for everything. It's not a hard job, people. Anyone can do this. Make sure you change your cabin filter. Oh, look at this. I've already vacuumed. There's more crap down here. Can you see this? With the interior semi-presentable, I then went to pick up my replacement parts. I drove to Lexington to buy a set of stock wheels and tires that I found for only 150 bucks. And then I met up with my friend Justin, who was willing to give me his stock exhaust he had sitting around for free. It's time to get into the more serious stuff like exhaust and wheels, but it's hot as balls outside right now, so I'm gonna drive this thing into the garage and it'll hopefully be a little bit cooler. Regardless of which one I was going to do first, I had to get the car in the air. From there, I decided to do the less fun job first and replace the exhaust. Now, if you don't live in the Midwest, consider yourself lucky. Unfortunately, we have to deal with so much road salt and grime in the winters that it absolutely just destroys bare metal. And I can already tell you that these are gonna give me a hard time. Like, just looking at these bolts, in my past experience with bolts like this, they're probably C's, they're probably not gonna come off. But I am gonna try and hit them with fluid film. This stuff works pretty well for penetrating. I'll just spray it on and you could see it kind of, see how it kind of like foams up? It does a pretty good job of penetrating. It's also like a protectant layer that you could spray preemptively on parts, but I'm obviously using it to try and unseize these parts, or at least see if I can. Got my paper towel down here, even though this stuff doesn't smell nearly as bad as like PB Blaster, but that's something else you could use. So I'm gonna let this soak for a little bit and then hopefully I can try and pull these bolts off. Okay, let's see if I can get lucky here. It's not looking good. Yep, there's that. So that was guaranteed to happen. I will have to run to the hardware store and get more bolts. I swore I'd never buy another Northern car again, but alas, here we are. The second nut and bolt were like the first, except this time the nut, which was super rusty, started to round so I couldn't even break it off. Mercifully, they eventually came apart with some clever work with the vice grips. Time to take this exhaust out. Just gotta get this middle hanger. Okay, middle hanger's gone. Drop the front. Back hanger is the last one. Get this thing out of here. There we go. And there we go. One thing I want to show you guys is when I was taking apart the exhaust up front, that bolt broke. Well, it's like they're spring loaded, which is what holds tension on that bolt. I didn't just put the spring here. It shot all the way back here. So make sure you wear those safety goggles because you never know when stuff's gonna go flying. As you guys can see, I got super lucky and the previous owner left the hangers that were on the car stock. He didn't need this left side hanger because the straight pipe was on the right. But fortunately he left these, so I got super lucky. But before I throw this big honking thing back in there, I am gonna lube up these exhaust hangers and also the rubber hangers themselves, just so they slide in easier, and also hopefully they won't like rust or stick on. Outside of the rear section being a bit awkward to handle yourself, it went up without too much of a fight. Lubing up those exhaust hangers came in super clutch, and I was able to slide them through the rubber hangers without too much cursing. 10 out of 10 would recommend. The mid-pipe was more of the same. Lube up the hangers and slide the exhaust into place. All that was left to do is bolt up the front section to the midsection and then finally secure the midsection to the rear muffler. Now that the hard part's done, the exhaust, it's time to whiz these wheels off and put on these burners. Now before you light up the comments section with, why would you take off an aftermarket exhaust which makes more power and weighs less, only to put on a stock exhaust? Well, for one, the car is completely stock and a catback exhaust basically adds no power at all. Secondly, the weight of the stock exhaust is definitely offset by taking off these heavy ass 18 by 9.5 inch wheels. I'm telling you, they're stupid heavy. Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's bring this thing down, see what it looks like on the stock wheels. Still got the mud flaps on there. I thought about taking those off, but they're gonna stay on there for now. And that's it. So super sunk in now, but these tires are gonna be great. Wheels and tires are gonna be great for this drift event that I have coming up. So definitely make sure you subscribe. You wanna watch that next week because I'm gonna make a complete fool of myself. I've never done a drift event, but I just was picking these aftermarket wheels up and then picking up the stock wheels. The stock wheels are so much lighter. These are so heavy, so everything's gonna be better. Like I said, one day I'm gonna get some nice, properly wide, properly sticky tires and turn this thing into more of a proper race car type deal, and then do an exhaust and some other mods. But with the stock exhaust, it should sound way better than that stupid straight pipe. So what I'm gonna leave you guys with is a clip of the straight pipe sound, and then I'll give you a clip of the stock exhaust sound. You can let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm sure a lot of people are gonna think I'm crazy for taking off an aftermarket exhaust, but definitely the weight savings on all four corners from these wheels and tires equates to, or nullifies any weight savings that I had with that stock exhaust. So once again, subscribe if you're interested in the FRS content. If you want to check me out in between episodes, at Eat Sleep Drive TV on Instagram. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Thanks for watching, guys.